Hi and welcome everyone to another video on my channel. My name is Denis and today we're going to talk about the best players to buy for Game Week 3 of Fantasy Premier League. Now, if you enjoy my content, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, but now let's get into it. Okay, now in the first part of the video I want to talk a little bit about some midfielders from Manchester United, since they are going to have an amazing fixture in Game Week 3, so a little bit obvious, against Burnley at home. Now, also because of a lot of injuries for players like Bukayo Saka, for players like Palmer, I think that a lot of people are going to look to buy some midfielders. Now, the cruel truth is that there aren't a lot of amazing options, outstanding options, but definitely if you want to buy a midfielder for Game Week 3, you need to take into consideration some midfielders from Manchester United. Now, don't worry guys, we're going to talk also a little bit about Bruno Fernandes at the end of the video, but these midfielders, obviously both of them are priced at 8 millions. I think that Cunha rised in price yesterday, so he's 8.1 millions right now, but both of them, I think that they are great options. It is not such a big difference between them, to be honest with you. We have just 2 game weeks of information, so it's really tough to predict which one of these players is going to score more points going forward. Now, I want to say some things before talking about them. Obviously, the fixture is great against Burnley at home in Game Week 3, but as you can see from the screen, in Game Week 4 they are going to play against Manchester City, and in Game Week 5 against Chelsea, 2 of the best defenses in the Premier League last season and probably this year. So again, not amazing if you want them for long term, but I understand if you want to buy a midfielder, if you want maybe a good captaincy options, I think that both of them are going to be decent. Obviously playing against Burnley away, but it really depends what strategy you are on, because for an example, if you're going to free it in Game Week 4, then it is a good idea to buy players from Manchester United, because you're just going to ship them out against Manchester City. But for an example, if you want to free it in Game Week 6 or in other Game Week, then I just don't think that it is worth it to buy them, obviously, for just one fixture. So yeah, I have some reservations here. Now again, Cunha, for me, it is the better pick at the moment. With the little information we know, he looked okay in the first half against Fulham. Manchester United didn't really impress me a lot in the first 2 game weeks of the season, but as you can see, Cunha had more chances to score goals, as you can see from his expected goals, and Brian Mbeumo is more of a creator, so he's going to get probably more assists, and also he is also on some set pieces. The real thing is that Bruno Fernandes, obviously, as you may know, he missed a penalty. Now, I still think that Bruno Fernandes is going to be on penalties, but if he's not going to be on them, one of these guys are going to be on penalties. Obviously, at the moment, I think that someone like Mbeumo is going to be on them, considering his record. Again, I think that both of them are exceptionally good options for Game Week 3 in particular. Not amazing after that, but again, if you want to sell someone like Palmer to Cunha or Mbeumo, I don't think that you can go that wrong, and it is not such a big difference between them. Personally, I prefer someone like Cunha at the moment, but Mbeumo is fine also. Next up, we're going to talk about Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth. Again, his price at the moment is 7.2 millions. As I talked before in Game Week 1, I think that he's a great option if you want to go for him. Obviously, long term, the fixture for Bournemouth are really good, as you can see. Not amazing in Game Week 3, to be honest with you, against Tottenham away. I much more rather prefer someone like Cunha or Mbeumo in Game Week 3, but long term, Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds in Game Week 6 and Fulham are decent fixtures. And as I said before, if you're going to free it in Game Week 4, for an example, I think that it is better for you to go for a player like Cunha or Mbeumo or Bruno Fernandes, so Manchester United midfielder. If you don't want to use your free it in Game Week 4, if you don't want to use your free it also in Game Week 6, Semenyo has Leeds away. So really good fixtures. Long term, he's a really consistent player, as you can see from the screen. His underlining data is the best of all the midfielders, I think, at the moment. His expected goals are 1.59 in total. Again, he scored 2 goals, he got 1 assist in Game Week 2. I think that he's going to be a decent option. Now, with Kluivert back for Bournemouth, I think that obviously Kluivert is going to be on penalties, so the chances for Semenyo to be on penalties are not that big at the moment, but he's a consistent player, and again, a really nice option at 7.2 millions. You can't go really wrong with him, so I think that he's again a really good option. Next up, I want to talk about 2 midfielders from Tottenham, as you can see from the screen, Kudus and John. So now I'm just going to say it from the start. I much rather prefer to go for someone like Kudus at 6.5 millions, and I'm going to try to explain it because it maybe sounds a little bit crazy looking at their statistics on the screen, as you can see. Now again, the main thing here is that the fixtures for Spurs are really good long term. Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton in the next 3 fixtures. They are a much more improved side from the last season, attacking wise, defending wise. They are much more better, and Kudus is just looking like he's going to be the Brian Mbeumo to Thomas Frank at Tottenham Hotspur. Now again, if you're looking at their statistics, as you can see, Johnson, he has 0.9 expected goals in the first 2 game weeks, and Kudus is much more like a creator, so he's going to get more assists. His data is not amazing, taking into consideration the opportunity to score goals. But again, why I think that Kudus is a better pick, he is definitely a safer pick, because as you may know, Spurs are looking to buy more players. Now we know that they missed on Eze. They are still looking to buy a winger. They are in talks with someone like Semenyo from Manchester City, and I think that's going to impact someone like Johnson. And also, if we talk a little bit about Richarlison here, the same. I just think that Solanke is not going to be on the bench forever for Spurs. That's why I don't think that I would go for someone like Richarlison. Although Thomas Frank said that Richarlison at the moment is his preferred number 9, I just think that Solanke is going to get into the team at some point, and the same is going to happen with Johnson. His minutes are not secured or something like that. Now, again, if Johnson is going to play 90 minutes every game week, definitely I want to have someone like Johnson into my team. But until the transfer market is going to be closed, it is really tough for me to suggest you to buy someone like Johnson, because if they're going to sign some wingers, I think that's going to affect Johnson's minutes. So that's why I think that if you really want to buy a midfielder from Spurs, it should have been someone like Kudus at the moment. In the next part, we're going to talk a little bit about Sarr from Crystal Palace and Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. Yeah, maybe I know it sounds a little bit crazy to have someone like Rogers on this list on players to buy after those 2 horrible performances, let's be honest, from Aston Villa. But again, the main thing here is that the fixtures from Aston Villa are really good. Rogers is 7 million, Sarr is 6.5. Definitely, if you want to pick one of them, I would just go for Sarr at the moment. Despite the fixtures, I still think that Rogers, someone like Watkins, again, these players could be great in the next few fixtures, but it is really tough for me to suggest you to buy Rogers instead of someone like Sarr, instead of someone like Kudus, instead of someone like Mbeumo, something like that. But the fixtures are really good for Aston Villa, and I know that I repeated myself maybe a lot. Now, the expected data is clear better for someone like Sarr. He is one of my favorites options at the moment. If I'm going to sell someone like Palmer into my team, at the moment, my preferred option is to buy someone like Sarr. Now, I know the fixture is not great in Game Week 3 playing against Aston Villa away, although the record for Sarr playing against Aston Villa is really amazing. Every time he plays against Aston Villa, he scores or assists. So, again, the fixtures are really good for Crystal Palace overall, and it really depends here again on your strategy, because if you're going to use your free in Game Week 6, this is my strategy at the moment. I'm thinking about using my free in Game Week 6 when Crystal Palace are going to play against Liverpool. I will go for someone like Sarr, because you can just ship them out in Game Week 6 when they're going to play against Liverpool. So again, it really depends also what you want to do in the future. Try to take that into consideration when making a midfielder transfer this game week. And again, the statistics are really good for someone like Sarr, really good fixtures for the future. I think that Sarr is going to be really great value at that price, 6.5 millions. But if you really want to buy someone like Rogers, if you want to have a midfielder from Aston Villa, I don't really mind the transfer at all. Now in the last part, I want to share my thoughts a little bit about the captaincy this week. We're not going to have a separate video on the captaincy this week, but I'm going to try to talk a little bit about the best captaincy options in my mind, at least. Now again, I'm just going to say it straightforward. I think that if you have someone like Haaland, I would just captain him. Now this is just my opinion personally. I would just do that. Maybe it's a little bit safe, maybe it's boring, but I just think that Haaland against Brighton away is a really nice captaincy option. Now again, the second one, as you can see here on the number 2, I'm going to have someone like Bruno Fernandes playing against Burnley at home. I know that it is really frustrating for the owners. He just missed a penalty. Maybe he's not going to be on penalties anymore, but I'm just going to take that chance, and I'm going to say that probably if you have Bruno Fernandes, I would captain him instead of someone like Cunha and Mbeumo. And don't get me wrong, I think that both of them are also great for the captaincy if you want to do that. Now, if you look at the heat map, Again, Bruno Fernandes, we know that he's going to play a much more deeper role. I'm not sure how many defensive contribution he's going to get against Burnley, but definitely maybe we're going to see a more advanced Bruno Fernandes in this game. I'm expecting Manchester United to score some goals, so yeah, I think that he's a decent captaincy option and also differential if you want to go there. Now, there are also other captaincy options. Again, on this graphic, I didn't have include someone like Mohamed Salah. Now, again, if you don't want to captain Mohamed Salah, I think that this is the best time to do it against Arsenal. Now it is at home, to be honest with you, but Arsenal probably is going to be one of the toughest gamings for Liverpool in terms of captaincy. So yeah, if you don't want to go for Mohamed Salah, I think that this is the perfect time to do it. Obviously, he's still a decent option. If you just want to default, play it safe with Mohamed Salah on the captaincy, he's going to play at home, his own penalties. He usually plays really good and he gets returns against tougher oppositions. So again, I think that he's also a decent captaincy option if you want to go there. Other ones would be maybe someone like Watkins against Crystal Palace, someone like João Pedro against Fulham. There aren't a lot of good captaincy options. Maybe someone like Barnes against Leeds if you really want to take a punt. But the main ones I think that are Haaland, Bruno Fernandes, Mohamed Salah, and maybe someone like Cunha or Mbeumo. Thank you so much for watching this video this long. It really means a lot and I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'm going to see you tomorrow with my team selection for Gaming 3. Bye.